Did you know there's a simple walking trick that can prevent thousands of elderly people from suffering serious falls and help them reclaim lost independence? That's right. Every year, 1 in 3 people over 65 experiences at least one fall. And often this marks the beginning of a cruel spiral of limitations, fear, and dependence. But today, in this brief video, I'm going to reveal something that few doctors talk about. A practical, easy, and extremely effective method that can transform your gait, restoring balance, confidence, and longevity. If you, or someone you love, has already suffered from constant fear of falling, frequent pains, or even isolation due to insecurity when walking, pay close attention to what I'm about to show you. I'm a geriatric physician, and I've helped hundreds of patients reclaim their autonomy with simple techniques you can apply at home right away. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and make sure you don't miss any valuable recommendations on senior health. Stay with me until the end, because in addition to revealing exactly what to do to stop falling, you'll hear real stories and see practical exercises that have already given thousands of elderly people the joy of walking confidently once again. Your quality of life, your health, and your longevity may depend on what you're about to see in the next few minutes. Are you ready? Then let's get started right now. Have you ever stopped to wonder why so many people as they age begin to fall more frequently? No, it's not a coincidence, and it's definitely not normal. There's a nearly invisible detail that precedes these falls, and most seniors and their families simply ignore it. We're facing a silent epidemic, a threat that disguises itself as small daily losses of strength, of balance, of confidence. Understanding this phenomenon is like finding the key to healthy and safe aging. Among the main risk factors, loss of muscle mass ranks first. The technical name is sarcopenia, but what it does is simple and devastating. It robs seniors of the strength that was once natural. Gradually, getting up from a chair becomes a challenge. Standing steady for long minutes seems impossible, and walking to the kitchen becomes risky. The secret: this condition is reversible. Studies in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy show that low-impact strength training exercises can reduce fall risk by up to 50%. This is not just science, it's freedom restored. But there's something more subtle at play: posture. Over the years, the body stoops. Shoulders round forward, the chin drops, and the eyes begin to look at the ground as if anticipating a stumble. No one mentions this in quick consultations. But that hunching of the body is like slowly erasing the senior's presence in the world. The good news: re-educating posture is like resurrecting confidence. A sturdy pair of shoes, a mirror in the hallway, and a few correct cues work wonders. Yes, the body responds, as long as we know how to call upon it. And reflexes? They tell a story too. When we're young, a trip becomes laughter. With age, it becomes a fall. This happens because reflexes slow down, and with them, the ability to react to the unexpected. Few know this, but certain sleep medications, blood pressure drugs, or anxiety treatments can directly affect balance. It's like walking on a tightrope without realizing it. That's why adjusting medications wisely is more than care. It's prevention of conditions and accidents that could be avoided with a simple conversation at the doctor's office. But there's an even more treacherous invisible enemy than muscle weakness or improper footwear: the fear of falling. It creeps in slowly, silently, and begins to shape behavior. The person avoids walking, stops going out, and starts to isolate themselves. Without stimulation, the body weakens even more, and so the fear born from one fall ends up causing others. Breaking that cycle requires resilience, and that's where the mind comes in, stimulating it, believing, lifting oneself emotionally. Because aging well isn't just about having strong bones, it's about having courage. Now that you understand the ins and outs of falls, you may be wondering, is there really a solution? The answer is a resounding yes, full of possibilities. There are impressive stories of seniors who, even after serious falls, regained their autonomy with simple routine changes. And the most incredible part, you're about to hear one of those stories. A woman who defied the statistics and proved that longevity is also a matter of overcoming challenges. She had every reason to give up. At 77, after a serious fall in her kitchen, Mrs. Maria saw her life turned upside down. She fractured her femur, spent weeks in bed, and even lost the will to get up from the living room armchair. But what no one expected was that, amid that silent pain, a daily miracle would arise, one that doesn't make headlines but changes destinies. Her story, like a hidden map, shows us the real path to healthy aging, and it all began with one step. Literally, fear had become her worst enemy. Just looking at her narrow hallway was enough to freeze her body. "I don't want to fall again," she kept repeating, while avoiding even stepping into the patio. But then something changed. A seasoned physiotherapist appeared, with attentive eyes and a generous ear. Instead of harsh, mechanical exercises, she taught Mrs. Maria to listen to her own body, to pay attention to how she stepped, where she placed her feet, and even how she breathed. The secret? Body awareness. A technique forgotten in a hurry-up world, yet powerful for longevity. For 3 months, sessions were held twice a week. Mrs. Maria relearned how to walk, first with support, then with increasing confidence, until the day when, as if in a sacred ritual, she crossed the neighborhood plaza alone. What once seemed impossible was now part of her routine, and the most beautiful part, she smiled again. She walked arm in arm with her neighbor, she went to the bakery, she chatted with the kiosk owner. What happened there wasn't just physical recovery, but the rescue of autonomy and the joy of living, a rebirth. The technique was simple, but full of wisdom. Initiate each step from the heel, keep feet parallel, look forward, relax the shoulders, and let the arms sway gently. All done mindfully. No rush, as if each step were a gesture of reconnection with life. Studies show that this way of walking activates brain areas linked to balance and reduces fall risk factors. Even more, it boosts self-esteem. For Mrs. Maria, walking ceased to be a challenge and became an act of freedom. And that, my friend, is true longevity. The most impressive part is how small actions generate profound impacts. Mrs. Maria began to experience less knee pain. She slept better. Her digestion improved. Doctor visits even decreased. The body, when properly guided, responds with gratitude, and that response arrives in the form of senior health, well-being, and renewed energy. As one of my former professors used to say, when a senior walks with confidence again, they begin to dream again. And that is exactly what happened there, in that plaza, one step at a time. Now tell me, if Mrs. Maria managed to transform her own story, what's stopping other seniors from doing the same? The answer is just ahead. In the next section, you'll learn exactly how to apply this walking technique correctly. The adjustments are so simple you can start today and feel the effects in just a few weeks. Few people know, but there's a correct way to walk, and it makes all the difference when it comes to preventing falls. Most believe that walking is instinctive and doesn't need to be relearned. But the truth is, as the years pass, the body adapts incorrectly. The gaze drops to the ground, the shoulders slump, and steps become shorter and hurried. This new way of walking, born of fear and insecurity, is precisely what increases accident risk. And this is where change begins. The proper walking technique is almost like choreography, subtle yet powerful. It all starts with the head held high. The gaze should be forward, not at the feet. This simple change engages posture and broadens the visual field. Shoulders should be relaxed, away from the ears, allowing the arms to move naturally with each step. Each swinging arm helps maintain balance. And this movement, as small as it may seem, significantly reduces risk factors in seniors. The ideal step begins with the heel. Then the foot rolls forward to the toes. This distributes weight more safely and prevents joint overload. Feet should remain parallel. No walking with toes pointed outward or crossing feet like a runway model. Additionally, the rhythm should be steady, not too fast, nor so slow that it causes instability. Think of it as dancing with the ground, in harmony. This, by the way, is what we call mindful gait. This technique not only improves balance, but also alleviates joint pain, stimulates circulation, and helps control diabetes and blood pressure, common chronic conditions in seniors. Practiced regularly, correct walking has an effect similar to preventive physiotherapy. It's like an invisible medication without a leaflet or contraindications that acts directly to promote well-being. Longevity medicine advises the body is shaped by what it practices, and walking well is a powerful life habit. Many seniors report feeling an almost immediate difference when applying this technique. Confidence increases, fear diminishes, and the body responds with greater stability. A curious detail is that even mood improves. After all, when you walk upright, lightly and securely, the mind aligns with this new state of presence. It's as if walking ceases to be merely locomotion and becomes a way to reconnect with your own body. A simple gesture that, when done right, transforms. Now imagine if, in addition to walking correctly, you also strengthen the right muscles to ensure even more stability. Well, that's the next stage. In the upcoming section, you'll discover 5 simple, quick and effective exercises you can do at home to reinforce everything we've learned so far. Get ready. Change can begin with just 2 minutes a day. Do you know what happens when a senior starts practicing these small movements daily? Within weeks, and sometimes even days, something magical begins to happen. Posture changes, steps gain firmness, and the silent fear that once paralyzed begins to fade. It's as if the body, finally heard, responds with gratitude. Disease prevention ceases to be an abstract concept and becomes visible in the mirror, in gestures, and in the eyes. Longevity begins to paint itself with more color and less pain. Patient stories leave no doubt. The lightness felt after a few weeks of practice is astonishing. Many say they returned to climbing stairs, walking to the market, or even playing with grandchildren in the yard. And do you know the most curious thing? This transformation doesn't come from big changes, but from simple, consistent actions. A moving body not only gains strength, it regains autonomy. And autonomy, for someone in their golden years, is synonymous with freedom. Rediscovering the joy of living intensely. Pain, that old companion of seniors, also begins to ease. Hip, back, and knee aches all diminish as muscles strengthen and posture realigns. A recent study by the Brazilian Society of Geriatrics and Gerontology revealed that seniors practicing mindful exercises report up to a 60% reduction in joint pain. It seems miraculous, but it's pure physiology. The body, when well cared for, regenerates. And when that happens, well-being ceases to be a dream and becomes routine. Another surprising effect is increased confidence. Those who walk safely again venture out, visit friends, attend church, and enjoy the sun on the sidewalk. Emotional isolation, so common in old age, begins to give way to socializing and interaction. And there's no better recipe for healthy aging than keeping the heart warm with human relationships. A firm step on the ground is often the first step toward rebuilding emotional bonds. And that, my friend, is worth more than any pill. And the results don't stop there. Sleep improves, digestion becomes more efficient, and even memory seems sharper. What happens is that movement regulates the entire body system. breathing better, walking mindfully, stretching daily. All of this activates brain areas linked to vitality and resilience. That's why so many seniors report feeling more present after adopting this new routine. It's as if the body calls back the soul that was hidden. As they say in functional geriatrics, active body, awakened mind, living soul. You may be wondering, but why didn't anyone tell me this before? Unfortunately, the answer lies in the myths surrounding aging, erroneous ideas that block action and fuel resignation. In the next section, we'll debunk these beliefs and reveal what really prevents so many seniors from achieving this transformation. Get ready, because what's coming next will open your eyes and maybe even change the course of your story. Finally, it's time to tear down some myths that have prevented thousands of elderly people from living life to the fullest. These are old, ingrained ideas that seem absolute truths, but in practice are invisible walls between seniors and their freedom. How many times have you heard someone say, "I'm too old for this"? This seemingly innocent phrase is one of the greatest traps for longevity, because it's not age that limits action. It's the mistaken belief about what age means. Let's start with the first myth. I'm too old to change. Nothing could be further from the truth. Neuroscience shows that the brain retains its plasticity until the very last years of life. This means it can learn, adapt, and improve, as long as it's stimulated. The body follows the same logic. There are seniors who start exercising at 80 and reap benefits in less than a month. As Hippocrates, the father of medicine, said, "If we can give each person the right amount of exercise, neither too much nor too little, we will have found the path to health." The second myth: falling is normal with age. No, falling is not normal, it's common, and there's a crucial difference. Recurrent falls are not an inevitable part of aging, but a sign that something needs correction. Lack of strength, lack of balance, lack of attention while walking. All these risk factors can be reversed with the right approach. And when ignored, the price is high: fractures, hospitalizations, fear, dependence. What seems small is, in reality, the beginning of a story that could be avoided. The third myth is one of the cruelest. I'll need a cane or walker for the rest of my life. This idea is born of fear, fed by misinformation, and grows in the absence of proper stimulation. But here's a little-known truth. The body is profoundly adaptable. Many patients who arrived at the clinic with canes now walk unaided and with confidence. Of course, every case is different, but with targeted physiotherapy, strength training, and mindful practice, it's possible to reverse situations that seem definitive. These myths act as emotional walls. They prevent seniors from seeking help, trying something new, and believing there's still life to be lived, with intensity, well-being, and autonomy. But when these barriers fall, something inside the person also rises, a sparkle in the eyes, a more confident step, the desire to resume old projects. And that is the true power of resilience, rebuilding what's possible, even when the world doubted. That's what makes healthy aging such a valuable achievement. The journey that began with a fall now ends with a choice. The choice to believe that it's possible to change, learn, and live better, even after 70, 80, or 90. As a geriatrician, I can assure you, the body responds, the mind blooms, and the soul lights up when there's movement, information, and hope. From here on, everything depends on the next step. And that step, my friend, is right before you. And now that you know the powerful trick that can completely change how you walk and prevent falls, tell me in the comments, have you or someone close gone through a difficult situation due to a fall? What was your experience like? I want to hear your story and know what you thought of the video. If you've made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and activate notifications. That way, you'll ensure you don't miss upcoming exclusive content on longevity, health, and well-being in the golden years. And to continue your journey, watch the next video that's already appearing on your screen with essential tips to quickly strengthen bones and muscles. Something that perfectly complements what you learned today. A big hug, take good care of yourself, and see you in the next video.